Good evening, everyone, friends, loved ones, family. Welcome back to my channel. It's a Sunday in Nigeria. It's about 5:01 p.m. I welcome everybody to this channel today. If you're new here, I say you're welcome. If you're also an already established subscriber or existing subscriber, I also welcome everybody. Today I'll be taking us through another series of the enterprise management classes of series, and today a fresh, new and beautiful topic. The slide is not going to be so long, or the video is not going to be so long, but it promised to be interesting, fascinating and value adding. And what is the topic we have before us today? The topic we have before us today is called the business life cycle. And what are we saying in essence? For every business or product or services, there is a product or business life cycle. For every woman too, lady, young girl, woman, there is something we call a cycle. At least once every month you have to have your menstrual cycle. Then the same thing applies to either a product or a service. There is something that is called the business life cycle. That is, for a period of time, it rotates over a period of time. I said the term business cycles and stages of business growth are most times used interchangeably. You can say the business life cycle, or you can either call it the stages of business growth. And what then is the business life cycle? We can say it is the progression of a business in phases over a period of time. And usually these phases are different authors have come out or come up with different stages or different levels of the business life cycle or product growth. Some authors say there are 5 stages, which is the most common. Some other authors says you have 4 stages, while some others say 6 and thereabout. Basically, a life cycle of a business follows a product from creativity or idea generation or invention or innovation to maturity and finally to decline. Like I said, some authors have classified or categorized the stages as launch, growth, shakeout, maturity and decline, while some other authors have classified as product development, market introduction, growth, maturity, decline or stability. I would be looking at it from the two perspectives of the first one that said growth, that said launch, growth, shakeout, maturity and decline, then comparing with the second one that says development, product development, market introduction, growth, maturity and decline. There is a chart or a table that shows the business life cycle from where it starts from to growth to shakeout to maturity, and then the slope goes down to decline. It starts from a very humble background, then it grows gradually to shake up to maturity, and at the point of decline it starts coming down. And there is something very important for us to know. At the point of decline, 2 things happens. One, it is either the product or service dies a natural death, or it is what revitalized, or you do things to bring that product or service back to life. So let's look at each of the phases or the types of the stages involved in this new business life cycle. The first one we'll be looking at, like I said, is called launch, from the first author. And launch is when a company begins its operation, usually launching a new product or a service. And usually at this stage, sales is very low because nobody knows you. You are just coming into the market. It is a new product, it's a new service that has other existing or closely related products, and that means you have to create your own customer. So what is germane at this stage? The major thing at this stage, if you want an increase in sales, it is not as if an increase in sales will come automatically. You have to do a lot of marketing, you have to do a lot of strategy, you have to create awareness for the product. This new product is good, and it has to come in also in good quality, so that customers that sees this likes it, appreciate it, buys and enjoy the product. At this stage, revenue is low. Like I said, sales is low, and sales most times equals your revenue or profit. Once sales is low, revenue is low. And also, most importantly, at this point in time, is either the business makes a loss or breaks even. But usually, most at this introduction or startup phase or launch phase, most businesses make loss. Or don't let's completely assume they make loss, maybe they break even. That is, they neither make loss or gain. Then from the second person's perspective, the first one said launch, it could be launch, it could be introduction, it could be startup. Then from the second person's perspective, has said the first stage is what? Seed development. And what do we mean by seed development? This is when you form an idea for your business. And at this stage, what is called seed development is you plant your business seed and nurture it into what? Success, into planting it in the mind of people, making sure that people are aware of this product. And I said it is during this early period that entrepreneurs look for investors that will provide capital, financial support to their startup. Is either they are out for a venture capital or an angel investor. Some other cases, bank of industry, commercial banks, other means of financial availability. Then this includes a high level of project feasibility research by the prospective investor. Don't forget that we said at this stage, the entrepreneur, the owner of the product or services are looking for investors to invest in the business. And at this stage, feasibility research is on the top tier. Feasibility research is on what is our goal at that point, or what is the goal of the business or the product at that point. The goal of the business at that point is making an estimate of the idea or ideal feasibility, ideal feasibility, the business feasibility, or it's what developing it into an actual business, or if it's what developing it into an actual business. We have always said a feasibility report is a walkabout report. We want to know if the business is possible, we want to know if the business is practicable, we want to know if the business is viable, we want to know if the business is, whether we should go or we should not go, whether we should do or we should not do. At that point, we'll know categorically if we are to invest into the business or start up the business or the product. But if the feasibility report is showing all indication that you should not go ahead, it means that business is not possible, is not practicable, is not profitable, or not viable. Profitability and viability means the same thing. Then the another thing we'll look at is what is the challenge at this point. What is the challenge at this point? Don't forget, I'm talking about seed and development. What is the challenge at this point? I would say 42% for my research, 42% of startups fail due to lack of demand for their product, or due to lack of maybe financial support, right? Getting the right finances or the right people to invest in your product. So as such, identifying and pursuing a market segment that offers suitable demand is the main challenge of our at the seed stage. Then what should you focus on? What should you focus on at this stage? Which stage? At the stage of seed and development. What are the things to focus on? Basically, I'm going to mention about 4 or 3 things. The first one is what? Reach out to investors. We can never overemphasize the need for investors, either venture capitalists or angel investors that can buy into your idea and that can actually invest into that business or that service or product that you're about to launch out. Then also another thing is what? Create a business plan. A feasibility report, you can check some of those slides on my channel. What a feasibility report means, what a business plan mean? I can also drop the link while I upload the video. You can see the link of a business plan and a feasibility report. A feasibility report and a business plan are not the same. It is the feasibility report that leads to the business plan. The feasibility report is a walkabout report that you are making research, either to go ahead with the product or not to go ahead with the product. At the point that you are sure that you can go ahead with the product, that is when you turn that into a business plan. So you create a business plan. Then also, with the help of your investors, you can gather advice and opinion from them or other professionals in that field. Then lastly, consider the market and your role in that market. What competitive strategy are you using, or what competitive advantage do you have over every other product? You have to consider all those things. What segment of the market are you servicing? What is your competitive strategy? Do you want to use differentiation or focus or low cost, or you want to combine one strategy or the other? You must also consider your market and the role in the marketplace. And that takes me to the next phase, and the next phase is called growth. For the first one, don't forget we are comparing two things. The first person said the next phase is growth, and at this stage it means that once you have passed the launch out stage or the introduction stage or the startup stage, the next thing is what? To see a rapid sales growth of your business. Don't forget that we said at that stage you advertise, you create awareness, you do marketing. So after that, once the customers or the market segment becomes aware of that product, then there is a rapid or increase in your sales. And this helps the organization. It increases profit, it increases sales, it increases cash flow, and many other things. But the second person is saying now, the first person said the first stage of the business life cycle is launch, introduction, and startup. The second person said the first stage is seed and development. Then the first person also said the second phase is growth for him, and this second person is saying the next phase of the business life cycle is startup. And startup means that enterprise either seek funding from investors or bank or work within their own means. It's just that they have interchanged the phases. They are almost talking about same thing in all the process. We said regardless of where your funding is coming from, extreme flexibility, adaptability, and resourcefulness are your best friend at this stage. And he said this stage is usually marked with what? Adapting your business model, that is changing the perspective of the market and the feedback of your first customer, learning how to turn your product or service into profit or sell higher, then outlining your strategy and work processes, your business formation and incorporation, and many other things. What is your goal at this stage? Making your business operation sustainability, more profit, more sales, more cash flow. And what are the challenges that you are likely to face, or the challenge you are likely to face at this stage? The most likely challenge that you are likely is to develop a business model that will suit your organization, or that will suit the product or service that you are launching out. What should you focus on at this stage? Establish a good business structure, consistently implement your ideas. Don't forget the word consistent. You have to be consistent. Any business whatsoever, no matter the business, for you want to make money, consistency is key. Always on point, always making research to improve that product or service is key. Then figure out a sustainable cash flow. Then lastly, face and overcome other challenges or various challenges that may come your way or that are already in existence. Then for the first person, the third phase says shake off. And we said shake out rather, not shake off. Shake out. And he's saying that shake out means sales continue to increase, but at a slower rate. Don't forget that we said the next phase of that first person is growth, and now he's saying the third phase is what? The third phase is what? Shake out. And at this stage, sales continue to continue to increase, but it might be at a geometric progression or an arithmetic progression, depending on the business or the product or the company. We said sales peak during this shake-off phase. Sales peak during this shake-off phase. Although sales continue to increase, profit starts to sometimes decline or increase depending on the organization. Then the second person is saying also that growth is the third phase, and he said in this third phase it means the business has to solidify its product or services in the market space. And he's saying your business strategy begins to settle and your clients are able to explain your business model to other prospects. Then at this stage there are things you should know: strong cash flow and profits, whether you have a high turnover or low turnover also depends on you. What are you to focus on, or what is your goal at this point? To maximize your profit and your customer base, creating a solid and intricate corporate and team structure. I said maximizing your profit and you're expanding your customer base, then creating a solid and intricate corporate and team structure. What are the likely challenges to face at this stage? Is addressing new demands of your business, because you are the growth stage. Different things will start coming up. Don't forget, other product can substitute product can come in, other new product can come in, related product can come in, competitors can develop other strategies that if you are not careful, your product can jump from that stage to decline or any other stage. Then what are you to focus on this stage? One, turn your focus inward. Look inward on how to strategize on how to have a competitive advantage. Then strengthen your customer relationship. Customer relationship is key. How do you respond to your customer? How do you relate with them? How do you solve their challenges or query? Then the last one is what? It requires a lot of investment. Then the fourth phase rather, is called maturity for the first person. And at this point of maturity, the person is fully grown, or the business or product is fully grown. Sales begin to decline. It goes down gradually, most especially when some certain elements are not in place. Sales begin to go down. So profit margin gets thinner while cash flow stays relatively stagnant. That's at the point of maturity. So, however, it is important to note that many businesses extend their business life cycle during this phase by reinventing themselves and investing in new technology and emerging markets. There are examples of all these processes or all these products. By the time we get to class, we'll make real life examples of what products and what are the stages of each of these products. I promise you that. Then I also identify that this allows companies to position themselves in this dynamic industry, or in their dynamic industry, and refresh their growth in the marketplace. The second person also agrees that growth is the fourth stage. And what are the goals and challenges at the growth stage? The first goal is what? Deciding the future of your business and your involvement in it. Don't forget that we said at the growth stage, what happens? There is decline already, and you can do two things. One, reinventing the business or the product or the services, or investing in new technologies and emerging market. Then what are the challenges at this stage? Is the ability to analyze your potential benefits and challenges, potential benefits and drawbacks of each choice, and making an informed decision. What are you to focus on? One, focus on how to expand your business, the product or the services, how to reinvent the wheel. Focus on how to invest in new technologies, emerging markets, new products, new services. Focus on how to rebrand. Focus on how to attract your customers the more. Focus on how to make sure that product does not die at the point of maturity, because at the point of maturity, the next stage is decline. or debt. You can say decline or debt. So if the maturity stage is properly maintained, the product will not die eventually. Then also at the maturity stage, you can also focus on finding an exit strategy. What do you mean by exit strategy? So that the business does not die in natural death. You can merge, you can acquire to have a solid background. You can sell to the management. You can do initial public offer. There are lots of exit strategies. So you have to find the exit strategy that suits your product or services or your organization and that will benefit you the most. Then the fifth stage could be called decline, transition, renewal, or rebirth. Decline, transition, renewal, or rebirth. Don't forget, at this stage is the stage at which the business life cycle, sales, profit, cash flow all decline at the same time. During this phase, company accept their failure, but if the maturity stage, like we said, was properly managed, it won't eventually lead to a decline. It will lead to a rebirth of a new product. Once the maturity stage is properly managed, then instead of decline or death, it transits into a new product or service. It transits into a product. It transits into something new. You are introducing new technology or investing in emerging market. You are rebranding. So it's either called transition, renewal, or rebirth instead of what? Decline. It is when the maturity stage is not properly managed, then it becomes decline at the end of the day. Then this other person also believes that the last stage is what? Renewal or decline. We said this after the period of stability and success, the next stage is for revenue, profit, structure, external brand reputation to decline. It is natural, even as human beings. There is a stage where we are babies, where we are eating from, or we are breastfeeding. At this point where we start working, at a point where we start going to school, at a point we finish the primary school, we go to the secondary school, we go to university. At the point of university, by the time you get a job, even at the point of university, most parents will just say, you are now an adult, so let me have time for your younger one. So at that point, you can also relate the woman life to startup, to shake out, to launching out, to growth, to maturity, to decline. By the time a man reaches 50, he is expected, or a woman expected, to have his own family, have his own children that he or she is training. Then at a point, the 50-year-old man or woman becomes old, that now the children have to take care of the mother or the father. What determines old age is the process of maturity, is the process of growth. If it's properly managed, then the old age too is what? Is beautiful, is rebirth. You enjoy, you are renewed at the old age. But if the stage of growing, when you were asked to go to school, you didn't go to school. When you were asked to go to the university, you went to university and you dropped out. When you were asked to learn a trade, you did not learn. Please, how does the old age want to look like? Once the early stage of life is properly managed, then with God, the old age is renewed or rebirth or is when you see an elderly woman or man die, it's a transition to glory, especially when the man has lived a good life. They will not say we regret. They will say transition what? To glory. So it's just the same way with product or service. There is a starting point, there is a time to work, there is a time to mature, there is a time to start sending money home, there is a time of decline too. So like we said, the last stage is renewal or decline. And what is the goal at this point? Is to reinvent your business by innovating or reinventing your idea or your product or your service. Then what are the challenges or the challenge at this time? We said one of the challenge at this time is the opportunity to reinvest your business, identifying the challenges on which your business falls, or identifying the spectrum on which your business falls. I said investing and expanding, or selling, or exiting that business. We have talked about all other one in those other slides. Then what is the focus at this stage? The focus at this stage one is toward assembling a team of people who are experts on maybe on exit strategy. It could be mergers, it could be acquisition, it could be both mergers and acquisition, it could be initial public offer, it could be management buyout or management buy-in. There are lots of exit strategy. Then you can talk to sales and marketing about reinventing. I did okay, in one of the slides I mentioned there is a graph. I would also put it in this video that shows the startup point, the shakeout point, the growth, the maturity, then the decline. Then I want to see if I can compare the two ideas, or the two opposite opinions. Ones are similar and some other ones are opposite and other. Then we said the final slide said the key takeaway across all stages of the business life cycle. These are important points for you to have in mind across all the stages of the business life cycle, and I quickly run through them because I don't want the video to be too long. One, consider your business place in the market. Also consider your market segment. Establish your company's business structure. Listen to feedbacks and adjust your business model. Like we said, customers are king. They are really, really important. You must always get a feedback. For example, now I'm always saying drop your comments. If there's anything you don't understand in this video, drop it. I'm going to respond back, and somehow I get people's response, I respond back. Is making me to have a better view of my customers. Sometimes it is even the student that walk up to me, why not do a video on this, why not do a video on that? It's because I have a feedback from my customers, or the students are my customers. Then you also find a suitable cash flow. Then turn your focus inward towards recruiting quality people and delegating key duties or responsibility. Expand the business or find an exit strategy. We cannot overemphasize exit strategy. You must find a way to exit your business. Then reinvent to innovate, or sell to maximize profit. Then lastly, the mixture of this business acumen, instinct, and ability to interpret the signs of change in your environment will all impact the precision of your decision making when moving from one stage to the other. I don't want to forget this. Reference is also very important. For some of my slides, I've not been including the reference, but this I've included the reference where I've got all my materials. I combine them. One is Corporate Finance Institute, www.corporatefinanceinstitute.com. I hope you have permitted me to use some of your points. Then I also use digitalskill.com. Then I also use www.phobe.com. I wish you a wonderful evening. Thank you all for listening. Don't forget to drop your comments in the comment section below. Also share, watch, because you must understand all the topics I've been taking you. I wish you a wonderful week, and God bless everyone.